by the old mill stream where I first met you. It was there I knew that you loved me true. Down by the old mill stream where I first drowned you. It was there I knew that you didn't know how to swim. And then I drowned you in the pool, and we were never married again. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president and had to say goodbye to all of his friends in Springfield. And this is what he said. My friends, no one that's not in my situation can appreciate my feelings of sadness at this parting. To this place and to the kindness of you people, I owe everything. I've lived here for a quarter of a century, and I have passed from a young to an old man. And here is where my children have been born, and one is buried. And I now leave, not knowing whether or whether ever I may return again. I am called upon to assume the presidency at a time when 11 of our sovereign states have announced their intention to secede from the Union, when threats of war increase in fierceness from day to day. It's a grave duty which I now face, and in preparing for it, I've tried to inquire what great principle or ideal is it that has kept this Union so long together. And I believe it was not the mere matter of the separation of the colonies from the motherland, but it was the sentiment in the Declaration of Independence which gave liberty to this nation and hope to all the world. This sentiment was the fulfillment of an ancient dream which men have held through all time, that they might one day shake off their chains of oppression and find freedom in the brotherhood of man. We gained democracy, and now there's a question whether it is fit to survive. Perhaps we've come to that dreadful day of awakening, and that dream has ended. If so, I cannot believe that it must be ended forever. I can't believe that ever again will men have the opportunity that we have had. Now, perhaps we should admit this and concede that our ideals of liberty and equality are decadent and doomed. I've heard of an Eastern monarch who once charged his wise men to invent him a sentence which would be true and appropriate in all times and situations. And they presented him with the words, "And this too shall pass away." And this too shall pass away. And yet, this is a comforting thought. In a time of affliction, this too shall pass away. And yet, let us believe it is not true. Let us live to prove that we can cultivate the natural world that is about us and the intellectual and moral world that is within us, so that we may secure for ourselves the blessings of liberty in a country whose course shall be forward, and from this day on shall not pass away. Well, I commend you to the care of the Almighty, my friends, as I hope that in your prayers that you will remember me. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. In war, there is no substitute for victory. Boom ba 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 boom. He was a famous outlaw by Chicago way. He had a boogie style that Healy Holt could play. He was a top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Oh, he plays the music for them every night. It really brings him down because he hasn't got a band. But then the captain felt sorry for him, and he went out and he drafted a band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A toot toot toot, a toodaloo toot, toot 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 toot. Oh, he can blow an 8 to the bar, but he can't do nothing without a bass and guitar. And he makes the company jump when he plays a reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Dee dee dee, a diddly boddly deedly boddly doo doo doo. A bunch of teeth ta ta tee patata tee ta do, and then the company bumps when he plays reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B, and he buzz. He keeps on a buzzing. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Sheba dabba sheba night, he blows at night. He blows the 8 to the bar, and the boys love it so. He wakes them up in the morning and he puts them to sleep at night. And Company jumps, he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Company jumps, teep papa tee ta to doodly boppo, ho ho bom 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 doodly boddly do. He's a tataya. He puts the boys to sleep every single night. He plays that music on his bugle and he makes it tight. Company jumps, he plays a reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Dee 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 doo doo da 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 da. He buck the tee patata tee to toot toot toot. Boom ba ba boom ba ta ta. Toot ta ta tee ta ta do la la. Hoppa toppa teepa toppa doo doo doo. Dee da doo da ba tee bo bo. Company jumps, he plays a reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Dee 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 dee. Well, hello there. My name's Elwood P. Dowd. Here, let me give you one of my cards. And now, if you want to call me, there's a new number on the back. I crossed off the other one, but you can come around for dinner anytime. What's your name again? You're Dr. Chumley. Oh, that's a nice name, Dr. Chumley. And I've heard that before. Oh, you have the home up on the hill for the people that are resting? Well, isn't that nice? Do you need another drink, doctor? Get you. Oh, you're okay. Well, the people up there, there's not a cemetery, right? No, I didn't think it was. I just wondered, did they get a lot of rest up there? I'm glad to hear that. They're all resting. They're kind of like they're under arrest. I made a little joke with that, Harvey. They're under arrest. Well, it's nice to see you, doctor, and I'm glad to visit with you. You want another drink? You're okay on your drink. What? Oh, and tell you all about Harvey? Well, Harvey is a friend of mine. I've known him for years. How did I meet him? Well, that's a very interesting story. I was coming home from the bar one night. They closed it, see, and I was helping my friend Jim into the cab because he was pretty drunk. And, since letting him drive, and so I helped him in, and they drove him. When I walked home, because I only live a couple of blocks from the bar, and we visit every day. Harvey and I visit every day. They all know this. And I'm walking home, and from behind me, I hear this voice, and it says, "Oh, good evening, Mr. Dowd." And he says, the voice says, that old friend of yours sure was drunk. I said, well, yeah, he was. It's a small town. And everybody knows everybody else here. So I didn't think anything of it. But I said to him, as I looked around, standing under this lamppost was this 6 foot 3.5 rabbit. I'm telling them, Harvey. I'm telling them all about you. See, you know this, doctor. You may not be able to see him. Not everybody can, but he does exist. And he says to me, I says to him, well, you have an advantage of me. You know my name, but I don't know yours. He says, well, what name do you like? I said, well, I'll tell you, I always liked the name Harvey. He said, isn't that a coincidence? That's my name. Now, Harvey's in a dictionary. He's a puka. In a dictionary, he's a 13th century spiritual animal that's mischievous, usually a rabbit. Yeah, I know, but he's there. But very mischievous, and he's been a good friend and been with me ever since that night. And we come into the bar most every day. I mean, we drink, it's fun. Harvey drinks, and we sit there and we meet everybody in the whole world. They come into the bar, and when they see Harvey, he is just about the most, I'm telling them, he is about the most interesting person that they've ever met. He thrills and delights them, Harvey does. And they drink and we talk and we visit for the longest time, and the people, they just think he's so wonderful, and which of course I'm telling him you are, and and anyway, and the people, they tell us their life stories, they tell us their problems, they tell us everything that's going on in their life, all these big things, because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. And then they leave and they're happy to have met Harvey, and of course the same people seldom return, but that's all right. We meet so many interesting people, and when I was very young, my mother told me, she said, Elwood, she always called me Elwood, she said, Elwood, in this life you've got to either be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. Well, I'm going to tell you right now there, Dr. Chumley, that's a nice name. For many years I was oh so smart, but you take it from me that I recommend pleasant. That's what I think. Harvey has a remarkable ability. He can take you to any place in the world. Oh, I'm telling you, this is true, Harvey. I wouldn't lie. You've done it for me many times. He can take you to any place in the world you would like to go, sir, there, Dr. Chumley. And you can stay as long as you want, and you'll have a good time. And when you come back, well, not a minute will have passed. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, he could take you. Where would you like to go, Doctor? Akron, Ohio. Oh, what would you do with that? You would want to sit underneath this tree. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. Big oak tree? Yeah, okay. And you would want to drink beer and have some strange woman, beautiful woman, pat you on the head and say, poor dear, and poor dear. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. The woman and all, but how long would you want to do this here, Dr. Chumley? I mean, Harvey, what? 2 weeks? Oh, that's an awful long time. I mean, 2 weeks under the tree, and the poor woman patting you on the head and say, you poor thing. I have to tell you honestly, Dr. Chumley, I think you make a mistake in not letting the woman talk. 2 weeks in Akron, Ohio. Oh, man. I can ask. I can't promise, but I can ask. Harvey, this is Dr. Chumley. And he's. Would you want to bring Dr. Chumley another drink over here? Seemed like he could need one. And he would like you to take him to Akron, Ohio, to sit under the tree and be patted on the head by this beautiful woman that he doesn't know, and drink some beer. He said, you don't want any whiskey, right? No, beer. And he said he'd like to do that for 2 weeks. Huh? Well, yeah, I think that's way too long. I thought 2 weeks, 2 hours would have been enough. No, I understand, Harvey. I asked him nicely. Doctor, I don't want to offend you. Don't want to do that. Harvey doesn't want to offend you. But I'm telling him, I'm trying to be nice about it, Harvey, as I know. But you see, Dr. Chumley, Harvey don't want to go to Akron, Ohio. He said he was there once. He didn't like it very much. He said, you could go to Akron, Ohio yourself. You don't need Harvey. You don't need him to go to Akron, Ohio. He don't want to go to, he likes it here in the bar. with me, and and it's not any offense. I'm telling him, I'm being as nice as I can, Harvey. I don't want to. He's a doctor. I don't want to make him upset. I'm telling him, but he says, you don't want to go to Akron, Ohio, and you go on your own, and that's just the way it is. You're not trying to make. Yes. Well, thank you, Harvey. Thank you. I like you too. Well, I prefer your company too in the bar. Thank you, Harvey. I like you too. Sorry, Dr. Chumley. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Boom ba dum ba da boom bapa dee bapa doo doo doo. Bapa dee da 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 do. Boom bapa doo. Oh oh oh. Oh 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 ba dee bapa dee. Walk right in round the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. Oh, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. I say you can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back. It's just a half a mile from the railroad track, 'cause you can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Papa cheepy tapa choopa doo doo doo. Tee-la-la-lee-la-do. Hoppy chippy choppa choppa dee dee dee. Alice's Restaurant. Oh, walk right in, baby, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. I say to you, you can get anything you like. Alice's Restaurant. Papa chupa top, in tapita. I say you can eat anything you like, anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Now you just gotta walk right in, because it's around the back, and it is just a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. Poopy tappy teepy too. Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want. You can eat anything you want. Alice's Restaurant. I say, honey, it's around the back. It's just a half a mile from the railroad track. Walk right in, it's around the back. You can get anything you want. Ha 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 ho ho ho. Ah da da dee da doodly di do. You can get anything you want at Alicia's Restaurant, at Alice's Restaurant. Papa tappa teepa tappa doo doo doo. Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, except Alice. Gentlemen of the Continental Congress, we are met here to ratify the Constitution of the United States of America. We begin with the preamble, which says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare, do ordain and establish this Constitution, the United States of America." Now, gentlemen, I haven't said anything now. We've been here about 2-3 months, debating states' rights and who won't sign and who says what and this, that, and the other thing. Gentlemen, this document, the Constitution of the United States affirms what we stand for in America. We stand for the rights of man. It affirms it. Freedom of speech, press, and religion. It affirms that. There have been many debates in it over states' rights. There's questions about this and that. And there's been a significant amount of debate for the past several months, accomplishing nothing. Nobody signed anything. Now, gentlemen, this is a real important piece of paper. I don't think it's right, but I think it's about the best piece of work ever to come out. It's an exactingly beautiful piece of work. I don't agree with everything, but it is the very best, I think, of what we have. And I'm asking you to sign it. Here's the way I feel, gentlemen. Years ago, when I was very young, well, I questioned my infallibility. I never questioned it. I said, I'm just right. I know I'm right, and this, that, and the otherwise. But as I've grown older, gentlemen, I have come to the conclusion that it's not a bad idea to question your own infallibility. And that's a good thing to do. I question my own infallibility because I'm old, but also I think that younger men have fresher ideas than mine. Even though I like my ideas, I think my ideas have validity, but I also think that younger men have newer ideas than me, and they may be more appropriate. I bow to that fact that I'm infallible, so therefore I let younger people decide what they think is right because they have fresher minds. With this particular document, the world is waiting for us to fail. Spain, England, all the major countries in Europe are just waiting for us to fail so they can just step right in. We're not going to let that happen. Gentlemen, I ask each of you to put aside your own infallibilities. Question your own judgment. Question your own infallibility, as I have done with mine. And gentlemen, very simply put, without all this debate and everything, kindly affix your signature onto the document, this Constitution of the United States. Affix your signature onto it and put aside your infallibilities. And then we can all go home. Day-o, day-o. Daylight come and they want to go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally my bananas. Dum-ba-da-deem, ba-da-dum-bum-bo. Daylight come and they want to go home. Day-o. On day, on day, on day, on day, on day. Daylight come and they want to go home. Well, hello there, everybody. This is Uncle Mikey, and this segment of the wonderful show is called Action-Packed Poetry. Very exciting. You can stop now. Very exciting action-packed poetry. The boy stood on the burning deck. Stupid kid. Why don't you jump in the water, you dummy? I don't care if you can't swim. You better learn how to swim real fast, kid. Mary had a little lamb. That's a likely story. But nonetheless, let's be serious for a while. I have two poems to share with you today, sent by friends. One is ladies first, of course. The first poem is by a lady named Susan O'Connell. Beautiful woman, lovely, lovely person. And she wrote a cowboy poem and entered it into the Cowboy magazine, and she won first place. And she wrote this wonderful poem, and this is how it goes. It's about the Old West and a brothel in the Old West. And this is how it goes. God, I love this thing. It's so funny. The good ladies gathered at the Baptist church to plan an attack against sin. Since a brothel had recently opened nearby, this was a war that they intended to win. But try as they might to close down the house by picketing out in the street, by editorials, letters, petitions, and prayers, all of their efforts were met with defeat. So they retreated once more to the sheltering church. They must be more aggressive, they swore. It didn't matter if somebody got hurt because there are casualties in any war. At last they decided to burn down the house, which didn't require much skill. They knew that this harsh deed would be met with much praise, for they knew that they were doing God's will. Their righteous indignation spurred them on to their task, and as they gathered once more to conspire, but they didn't consider the consequences of trying to eradicate evil with fire. The ladies looked smug as the embers rose high. These whores would regret coming into this town, their town, but they neglected to notice a shift in the wind. And the Baptist church, not the brothel, burned down. And that's Susan's poem, first place. The next one comes to us, comes to me, comes to us, to you, from all of you to all of us, and from all of us to all of you. Well, here it is, this fellow named Jeff Hammers, who has died not too long ago, was a nice man. Used to know him, good fellow, did a lot of extra work with him. Sweetheart of a guy, good-natured man. Jeff Hammers, who died, got to talk to him the day before he died, said goodbye. I said, well, that's good enough. He died very fast and he was young. But that happens sometime, but he'll be back. If anybody is entitled to go to heaven, or if there is a heaven, boy, he got a box seat. Lovely, lovely man. And this is the poem he wrote about being an extra. And I did a lot of extra work with him. He's a lovely, nice fella, well thought of in memory. But this is the extras poem. Goes, be at the set by 6 a.m., even though we won't use you till 10. Your breakfast will be donuts and tea, and you won't get your lunch before 3. Just do as we say and you'll be okay, even though you do the least. Remember that you're not just an extra, no. You are a background artiste. Park your cars, don't talk to the stars, leave the director alone. Don't take so long in the bathroom and don't talk so long on the phone. Wear the clothes that we tell you and make sure your pants are creased. Remember, you're not just an extra. You're a background artiste. Don't look into the camera once we're ready to go, which may be another 3 hours. Maybe we will let you know. We'll give you special business if you can play a cop or a priest. But no, you cannot have a SAG card because you're a background artiste. Fill out your voucher and give it to the AD. But if we find a mistake, you have to work for free. The cast and crew get steak au jus, while pizza is your feast. No, you can't be a stand-in because you're not just an extra. You are a background artiste. Jeff wrote that, I think it's rather funny. And that concludes My Uncle Mikey's Poetry Corner, action-packed poetry, and this is your good friend, Uncle Mikey, signing off. Shut up. Well, hello there. Hi, welcome to hell. How are you today? Nice to see you. New arrival? Okay, fiery pit. Go on over to the fiery pit, just jump right in. All you people here, new arrivals, fiery pit, just jump in. I know it's hot. But, you know, you get used to it after a while. I see a lot of your old friends. You'll be there for a while. Everybody goes there. Don't feel as though you're anything special. You'll be fine. New arrivals, fiery pit. Just go over there and just jump right in. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, we all have to do it. I used to. I'm lucky, though. By golly, I got a good job in hell. I'm the greeter, you know. I say hello to everybody and welcome to hell. Hi, how are you? How you doing? Fiery pit. And that's what I do. I love my job. I have the best job. I got very lucky. I made a good deal with the big guy. We were friends, you know. Well, he gave me a good deal. Okay, and you what? You're returning. Well, returning. You know the drill. Everybody returnees, raise your hands. Okay, all you people go on over there to the volcano and just soak your feet in the lava. Somebody will be with you eventually. Go on over there. You know the drill. Everybody. Oh, how many? Okay, okay, everybody just go over there. That's fine. Thank you. Now, new arrivals again. Fiery pit. Just jump right in. Okay, thank you all. Very good. Okay, everybody just fire. What? You want to renegotiate your contract? Well, I don't do anything like that. I'm the greeter. I'm nice to everybody. I'm friendly. Well, I'm not supposed to be as friendly as I am, but I'm nice to everybody. I like people, even in this place. Now, what do you got? You got a contract. Well, okay, let me see it. I can't do anything for you. It's not my job. Fiery pit. Let me see. Okay, now this you signed this in blood, right? Well, that's a little hard to read, but he signed it in blood. Now, let's just say, it says here, you got riches. Did you get riches? I see. And it says here you got a lot of, all these women. You got some women, all the women. And did you eat well? It said here, you eat well. And how long did you live? You live 104. That's a good long life. And you want to renegotiate your contract? Well, what are you bitching? What are you complaining about? The guy kept his word. Everybody says, oh, the devil will cheat. He didn't cheat you. He gave you exactly what you wanted. So trying to renegotiate, I don't know what to tell you, pal. Well, I'll tell you what you do. This is very simple. Take your paper with you and go over there, over to the dynamite room, to the dynamite room, and you just sit down over there. Take a number when you go in and go and sit down. No, it isn't crowded. No, there isn't any line. No, just go and sit down in the dynamite room and they'll take care of you real fast. No problem, yeah. Yeah, just go ahead. Oh, hello, a pretty girl. How old are you, honey? 19. Well, what are you doing here? Have you got a contract? No. Oh, well, you're nice. Look, are you, what are you here for? You killed your mother? Oh, what was it? Something she said? Were you mad at her? I see, but you're just a bad girl. Oh, gosh. Bad girl, huh? Well, you're in luck. You don't have a contract, right? Just came here because you're bad. Well, that's interesting. We don't get a lot of your kind here, but I'll tell you what let's do, honey. The big guy would like you. He likes bad girls, you see. So it's almost time to get off. The happy hour in the Devil's Lounge is 4 to 7. And we go there, and he comes in about 4:30 or so. The big guy, he plays the fiddle, and he jams. Oh, we just have such a good time. There's Bloody Mary drink specials. There's hot wings, jalapeno peppers, and a wonderful spread. And for a little while, when we go to the happy hour, it's not really like being in hell. We kind of let our hair down. But I'd like to introduce you to him. Come with me, and we'll go there, and we'll have a nice drink, and he'll like you, 'cause you're a bad girl, and the big guy likes that. See, everything in hell isn't all bad. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for the prophet Daniel. Good for the prophet Daniel. Good for the prophet Daniel. Good enough for me. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. Your Honor, the defense is brought to Hillsborough at great expense and inconvenience. 6 noted scientists. These men are the great thinkers of their time. Their testimony is basic to the defense of my client Bertram Cates on trial here for teaching from a book called The Origin of the Species. It's antiquated law, thrown in jail for that. It's my intention to show this court that what Bertram Cates spoke quietly one spring afternoon in a Hillsborough high school is not a crime. It is indisputable as geometry in every community of enlightened minds. Well, Your Honor, the defense wishes to place Dr. Keller there on the stand so that he can better explain to the gentlemen of the jury exactly what the evolutionary theory is. Now, how can they pass judgment on something that they don't know anything about? Well, Your Honor, you tie my hands. How am I supposed to try a case? A man's arrested for this, and you're not allowed to address it in court. It can't be addressed. The theory of relativity is he was arrested for it. The testimony has to be on the Bible, and only the Bible? It ties my hands, Your Honor. I objected strongly. It's prejudicial against my client. Yes, Your Honor, I've been a lawyer long enough. I accept your decision. I didn't say I like it. I object. I have to do a different form of defense for my client who hasn't done anything wrong, in my opinion. All right. Religion, the Bible, is the only thing I can talk about. I never. Man's arrested. You can't even discuss what he's arrested for. All right, okay. We'll do this. Would Your Honor in the court accept expert testimony on someone that is an expert on the Bible? I see. Well, then, Your Honor, at this very time, I wish to call the prosecuting attorney, Matthew Harrison Brady, who's a friend of mine, to the stand. He's the greatest living authority on the Bible and its teachings. Would you take the stand, Matt? He said he would take it if it's in the interest of justice. I believe so. Take a box seat there, Matt. Now, Matt, I call him Matt. He's my friend. I've known Matt for years. I campaigned for him for president. He's a friend. But, Matt, this is the book you're an expert on, the Bible. Am I correct in calling him up here as an authority? Everything you read in the Bible, you tried to live according to its precepts. Well, bully for you. Now, I suppose as an expert on the Bible, you could quote me chapter, verse, straight through this King James Version, can't you? Many portions you've memorized. Well, now, I don't suppose you memorize anything from The Origin of Species. Huh? What do you mean you've never read it? Well, how in perdition you have a gall to whoop up a great holy war against something you don't know anything about? How can you be so sure that the body of scientific knowledge systematized in the writings of Charles Darwin is in any way irreconcilable with the spirit of the book of Genesis? Would I state the question again? All right. Look, we'll play a new ballpark, Colonel. This is the book. This is the Bible. This is a book you're an expert on. Now, do you think that everything in this book should be taken literally? Everything should be taken exactly as it is written there. Well, here's Genesis 4:16, and I quote, Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and he dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden, and Cain knew his wife. Now, where the hell did she come from? Mrs. Cain, Cain's wife. If in the beginning there's only Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, where did this extra woman spring up from? I think somebody pulled off a creation over in the next county. Oh, all right, okay. Now, here's another section. It says here, Abrahax begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber, and so on and so forth. Now, are these pretty important folks? I see they're the generations of the men and women of the Bible. Well, how did they go about all of this begatting? Oh, I don't think the scientists have changed it any, but how did they go about it? The normal process. Well, in other words, they begatted through a normal biological function known as sex. Now, Colonel Brady, what do you think of sex? Oh, I'm not asking you what you think of sex as a father, or as a husband, or even as a presidential candidate. You're up here as an authority and an expert on the Bible. What is the biblical evaluation of sex, Colonel Brady? Original sin? And you mean to tell me that all these holy people got themselves begat through original sin? You think all that sinning made them any less holy? Well, all right. Now, here's the part here. It says, during the Battle of Jericho, Joshua halted the sun in the sky. Now, do you think that actually happened? The Bible says it happened. Well, did you ever stop and think what might happen if the sun stopped? No, it never bothered you. Never tried to find out. Boy, you have a driving curiosity. Well, if the sun stopped in the sky, as Joshua says, then that means that the earth stopped spinning on its axis. The continents toppled over each other, mountains flew out into space, and then the earth arrested from its orbit. It shriveled into a cinder, and it went crashing into the sun. Now, how come they missed this tidbit of news? Must have happened according to natural law. Or don't you believe in natural law there, Colonel Brady? You want to pass a law to wipe out all scientific development since Joshua Revelations period? All right. Darwin moved us forward to a hilltop to where we could look back and see the way from which we came. But for this view, this insight, we have to abandon our faith in this pleasant poetry of Genesis. We must not abandon faith. It's all important. Well, Mr. Brady, why did God plague us with a power to think? Mr. Brady, why you deny the one faculty which lifts man above all the other creatures of the earth, the power of his brain to reason? Now, what other merit have we? The horse is stronger, swifter, butterfly is more beautiful, the mosquito is more prolific, even a simple sponge is more durable. Or does a sponge think there, Colonel Brady? Oh, you're a man, not a sponge. Well, do you think a sponge thinks? If the Lord wishes a sponge to think, it thinks. Well, then, Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, my client here wishes to be accorded the same privilege as a sponge. He wishes to think. Your Honor, I beg your pardon, but the right to think is very much on trial here. Religion is not on trial. Darwin's theory of evolution is not on trial. A man is on trial, and his rights have been severely threatened. Freedom of speech, press, and religion, his rights have been completely threatened. What? Oh, Colonel Brady, God tells you to oppose the writings of Charles Darwin, does he? God talks to you? He tells you exactly what is right and what is wrong, and yet you act accordingly? So you, Matthew Harrison Brady, through oratory or legislation, you just pass along God's orders to the rest of the world. Well, gentlemen of the jury, meet the prophet from Nebraska. Well, Your Honor, that concludes my cross-examination of Colonel Brady. It's real hard for me to try to cross-examine somebody that God talks to. It's very difficult. Matt, you want to just sit down? No, I meant no offense by my observations against Matt. He's my friend. He's still a friend. In summation, to the jury, I only ask that you folks use your common sense. Use your reasoning. What has this man done that is so wrong other than exercise his freedom of speech? He taught a class on the theory of evolution, and that's what it is, friends. It's just a theory. Can't be proven. It's a theory. And yet this man is incarcerated and thrown in jail. He's not a criminal. You haven't killed anybody, have you, Matt? No. He's not a criminal, and yet he's being treated and looked upon as the greatest sinner that ever walked the face of the earth in this state. It's an injustice. The man's rights have consistently and constantly been violated. And gentlemen of the jury, all I ask is that you take this into consideration in your deliberations. Please. The man is just a teacher, and he isn't guilty of anything intentional. He's just a teacher teaching from a book. Please, use your conscience, gentlemen, and find my client, Bertram Cates, not guilty of this charge. I thank you, gentlemen. Have you heard the blessed Savior calling you, calling you, calling you? Have you heard the blessed Savior calling you, calling you? Have you heard the blessed Savior calling you? We shall gather at the river, beautiful, beautiful river. We shall gather at the river that flows by the beautiful shore. Give me that old-time religion, old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. And by the way, they found him guilty. And now, a song for Susan to conclude us. Maestro? There we are. Falling Leaves. Here we go. Lovely song, Nat King Cole wrote. Gotta wait for this. The falling leaves pass by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I feel your kisses. I see your eyes, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I will hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I will hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, when autumn leaves start to fall. And that's for Susan. Hi, honey. Thank you.